Hello, hello. The Bloodlust is live. Looks like everything is working. I am very sorry. I literally reset my computer, hoping that resetting my computer before I started my stream would prevent any weird issues. But unfortunately, it seems as though no matter what I do, it's bound to have problems, I guess. Now it looks like it's not even registering I'm live. What's happening? Okay. What's happening? Wow, why did that take so long to connect? Hello, the Bloodlust is live. That's crazy. Took over a minute for it to register that I was live. I'm not sure what's going on lately. I'm starting to get pretty frustrated with it. I feel like it's not just me doing stuff wrong. We're live. Like everything is running smoothly. Finally. No. Dropped frames all over the place. Okay, Jesus Christ. Hello. The Bloodlust is live. We're gonna hop into some Trackmania. It is Trackmania Tuesday, of course. We got week 48, because holy crap. I think I started, I keep saying this, but I'm pretty sure I started in week 16. So I've been doing this for like 3/4 of a year at this point. Appreciate everybody that's been joining me for Trackmania Tuesdays. It has been actually a lot of fun. Chatting with everybody and trying out all the new tricks and stuff. Here we are jumping into it. Trackmania had a weird issue with the audio when I tried to start up the first time. Not exactly sure what was the cause of that. I got about 3 seconds into the intro music and it goes and it just stopped. It was a little strange. Welcome again. Welcome. Yes, here we are. Hopping into Trackmania week 48. We're going to do week 47 reviews, of course. I did grind a little bit last week, actually. I've been doing all kinds of other stuff, been all over the place. But I did actually take a little bit of extra time last week and try to get some good scores. Managed to get myself number 33 in Oregon overall, got number 25 on one track. I was at one point number 18 on the slime climb, but again, as per usual, hello Nat, thanks for popping in, appreciate you as always. as per usual, there's always a handful of people that put in a huge effort on the last day or even in the last few hours. First runs this week, you hate it. Ooh. Are they rough tracks? Or I did look at some of them for my original video, unfortunately. God, like I said, I literally reset everything, started fresh, and only had my streaming software up and running, and it gets 45 seconds into the stream, goes, and I'm like, what? I was actually pretty frustrated by it, but that was then, this is now. Yeah, I did go ahead and look at the first couple of tracks. Just a hard first run. Yeah, this one's all plastic. Don't love that, but I mean, you know, there's some other stuff. Don't like map 1. Yeah, I was thinking I'm probably not gonna love it just based on the look of it. Map 2 looks interesting though, with all of the swirlies and stuff. Is that Blythe? Is that, I'm assuming that's probably what that's supposed to say. Lost Dirt. Pathfinder is dirt path in the forest. That one actually looks kind of cool. It's one part. What do you mean, the first map? Or what? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, they do actually look pretty interesting. Temple Run is kind of odd. It's got like a fixed camera. Some of the fixed camera maps are kind of cool. The last fixed camera map that I really liked was that one where it was like a old-fashioned kind of sea scape looking picture, and it was all made out of wood, and it had like the wavy kind of path with plastic on either end, and you had to bump off of it. That one was actually pretty cool. But of course, we're gonna start with Nostalgia 231, week 47. Temple Run is really cool. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and do one run on this one. This one is called Nostalgia, of course. And literally, the funny thing is, we were going over the reviews of the previous week, of course, and I was talking about how much I hate the desert car. And then this comes up. Honestly, I love this track. I hate the fact that they changed the canyon car so much. Like, it used to be awesome. It used to be one of the most fun cars to drive, and they turned it into just a mess. Like, the whole tippiness of it and everything, I don't get why they decided to go with that route. Like, I understand, I guess, to some degree, like they were trying to add like a unique challenge or something like that, but it is just not fun. I do not enjoy it at all. But this one is great. I do enjoy the canyon car. Desert car is not great. Canyon car is awesome. Had a really good speed slide in my PB there. Kept a lot of my speed. I think I actually did that second turn no slide. But yeah, pretty easy track, straightforward. You just want to be nice and smooth. Cut each corner as close as absolutely possible. Reduce your air time there. Get as close as you can to the corner without bumping the plastic, of course. You want to... Desert car likers are lying. Yeah, for real. For real, for real. If you say that, if you truly believe that you like desert car, then you needed to speak to a therapist. But any case, yeah, this one is a lot of fun. There are some nuances to it, of course, as there are most tracks, but basically the point is to get yourself as close to each corner as possible. Go as straight as you can through the sand there, or the dirt. Try to skip actually all of it, or at least as much of it as you can. It's good to get a speed slide, but in that last turn, I really feel like full grip is probably the best way to go. But we're gonna find out how the records went, we're going to start, of course, with the bottom. We got SCHR, Vintage, X92 Rod, Crazy Dude Crook, and Lord Quacked. Few of those we recognize. SCHR, of course. Oh, last check. Oh, yeah. Lost like 0.6 between the last checkpoint and the finish. Yeah, I know how that goes. It's like sometimes you're like going so good and you're like, yeah. And then your PB's just like, meow, right past you. And you're all like, but like, how did I lose all that speed? Like, totally. Anyway, we're going to start with SCHR, of course. Going tight to the right there, cutting all of that sand, staying as straight as they can. Cutting, of course, as I said, skipping as much of that dirt as possible. Beautiful speed slide, almost near perfect speed slide in the last turn there. But they lost a lot of their speed in the last turn. Of course, as always, as you're just saying, it's that last turn every time. Staying straight through the sand, cutting the dirt, nice speed slide, but he fell a little behind there. Cut it a little close, a little wide on his speed slide. Looks like X92 Rod had the best speed slide in that last turn for sure. So we're gonna go from X92 Rod's perspective here, with Vintage right next to him. They're pretty even here. Vintage is a little behind. Nice low cut, straight across the booster. Cut as much of that dirt as they possibly can. Beautiful speed slide, nearly touching the plastic in the corner. Straight into the finish. Landed a little bumpy. That actually lost him like about 5 to 10 speed there in the end because he bumped in the final landing. So we're gonna go from Crazy Dude Crook's perspective with X92 Rod here behind him. X92 Rod near even. Crazy Dude Crook just a little bit straighter through the sand. Nice, beautiful speed slide there. Ooh, a little bit of a whip. Kind of lost him some speed in that straightaway. And he's going to get a really rough landing there. But actually, it kind of zooped him for like the last few feet into the finish. Might have been, let's look at that again. So he's going to go really close to that corner. Beautiful speed slide. Again, whips on that turn, but that landing may actually have gained him some speed. He's only 1/100th ahead of X92 Rod. So we're going to go from Lord Quack's perspective, the world record holder here, 17,468. Oh, let's restart that. 17,468. He goes straight across the sand. I don't understand how they go so straight there. He gets really low cut, super close to that the ceiling there. He also whips a little bit, but it's almost like he's snapping. There's an interesting mechanic there. If you, man, that is so close to the roof. Straight across the booster, skips all of that dirt, really wide through this turn here. Perfect speed slide. Gets just that tiny bit of extra speed into the finish for 4/100ths of an improvement. 37th in your state. Yeah, I got 33rd. I don't know how many people there are in Oregon actually, but really close. He looks like he's much farther ahead, like a full car length, but he got so much speed going into the finish there. He gets all of that speed in that first section and just keeps it all the way through. Beautiful wide turn. Absolutely incredible. Well done to Lord Quacked. Definitely keeps that speed, that angle that he kept, that really wide angle, super smooth. Allows him to carry the speed slide through the whole way. Great work to SCHR, Vintage, ISD, X92 Rod, Crazy Dude Crook, and Lord Quacked, the world record holder, of course. That was track number 231, week 47, Nostalgia. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one here. 37th. Yeah, that's pretty good, dude. I think the best I've finished in my state was, I think I was number 11. It's the best I finished. Pretty sure it's on somewhere on one of these streams. This one was a little bit of fun. Despite myself, I do enjoy the skill required to play with the snow car. It is a different kind of skill. It's not like it's fine movements. I can deal with this. Like, the thing about the desert car that I just really don't like is the fact that it is just so unruly. Like, there's nothing in the world that drives like it, not even slightly. And sure, you could say it's a video game, doesn't have to be realistic. I have heard that argument before, but just it's just egregious. The snow car though, I do like it. It does actually require like a little bit more skill and less just like brain rot. I don't know. 31st in week 44, which was that what tracks were those again? Anyway, Lullaby. We're gonna go ahead and check out the records here. Week 44, those were the, oh, okay, yeah. I don't remember what I ended on that one. We're gonna go ahead and view the records here. We got Aluo, Mark TM, Nike TV, Mab TM, and Royfler. We're gonna look at Aluo. We're gonna start from the bottom here, of course, from Aluo's perspective. Going really wide to the right there, cutting super tight to the left, nice and low across that section, skipping almost all of that grass, clipping the wall there, but somehow not losing any speed. That's the one thing about Snow Car. It is very, very forgiving with like wall touches and bumps and stuff. Yeah, skipping all of that grass, literally all of that grass there, keeping every bit of speed straight into the finish. Beautiful run. We're gonna go from Mark TM's perspective here. Mark TM, again, cutting super wide or tight to the left. Nike just behind him. Mark even going up on 2 tires there across the grass, keeping even that much more speed, but getting a rough landing just before the wood there and allowing Nike to get ahead. Rough landing. Nike gets a little bit tighter to the right and just gains like a tire length 4 thousandths ahead of Mark. So we're gonna go from Nike's perspective here with Map TM in front of him, almost perfectly even into the start there. Map slightly ahead into the downhill section, really close to that wall. Holy cow. And oh my god, risking it down that hill. He went up onto his left tires down the wood section. He was going so fast, he almost caught air there. Or not so much fast, but just so tight. Oh my gosh. He might have even just gone, hold on, let's go back. Let's just go from Mab's perspective here. Really tight to the right, or wide to the right and tight to the left there. Straight across the sausage block. Big bump, and he straight goes up. He is only on his front driver's side tire there on that downhill. He only has 1 tire contacting the ground, but it's enough to keep full grip. You got all-wheel drive with these vehicles. Holy cow. That was such a tight turn down the wood there. He was risking it for the biscuit, as they say. Let's go from Royfler's perspective with Mab behind him, of course. Royfler going a little bit wider, but keeping more contact down that hill section. Nice, tight across that grass, skipping as much of it as possible and getting more contact on the wood there, barely getting a tighter turn into the grass. He actually, Map had a better run right up until the finish. Royfler had a slightly smoother turn into that last turn right here, right across the grass, lifts up onto his right side, skips the grass, and into the right side of the finish, just about as tight as you can get. Off pissed, yeah, that was a fun one. That was funny too, because that was like, it was almost like they made that track an homage to Descenders Next, because we were literally like, I had never heard that term before until, like literally, I had never heard that term before until playing Descenders Next. And then like a week or two later, they have a Trackmania map with Off Pissed as one of the names. It's like, that can't be a coincidence. Like, well done to Royfler, absolutely beautiful run. Oh my gosh, so close into the finish there. He almost catches air in that last uphill. Barely keeps it on the ground. That wall clip honestly impresses me. I gotta see if I can't. Not like that. We're gonna go action key 3 here. Dang, nice. There you go. That's a big improvement. Okay. Whoop. Action key 3, please. That was terrible. Well, a little bit better. Low there. Cut across that grass. Holy cow. Maybe they might even be on a lower action key than that, or maybe they're not even using action keys. They make some crazy tight turns here. I just want to get one good run on this, try to match their, whoa, jeez, I can't even, the precision there. I would have to put some serious grindage into that, and I'm not gonna put you all through that brain rot. That was Lullaby week 47, track 2. Well done to Aluo, Mark TM, Nike TV, Mab TM, and Royfler. Royfler with the record. Super close, actually, this week. All within 200s. 2.3. 23 thousandths, even. Very close runs this week. Let's do one with everybody. Oh, really close there. Super close to that wall. Nice tight line. Down there, cutting the grass. Oh my god. It almost looks like they all hit the finish, like at exactly the same time. And the way they spread out, like the array is like a perfect rainbow. That's kind of cool. That was cool. It literally, oh my god, they landed in the finish in rainbow order. That is epic. Chromatic finish. Oh my god. Oh my god, that is that's like picture perfect right there. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. I love it. That's awesome. Well done to everybody. Here we go, Safari, week 47. I actually really enjoyed this map. This one was a lot of fun, just because of, like, the fact that it's more than just a track. It's like actually, like, a cinematic adventure almost. Like, it's like a sandbox. It's not even just a racetrack. Like, there's so much stuff going on here. There's bears, and like they've got like all these exhibits set up. Some of them don't make a ton of sense, but it's just, I love the aesthetics of it. When the track is more than just a track with like a bunch of abstract crap, like this is awesome. It feels like a track you might find in, or like a section you might find in like Forza or something, you know? Like, there's just so much life to it. It's, even though everything's stationary, ironically. It's 5-1. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's a path, or yeah, it's Pathfinder. there's also a lot going on here. This one was the first path that I took that I did enjoy. The plastic path, of course, the 08 path. If you get a nice landing like that, doink, you can bounce yourself, hopefully get on. Nope, no. Oh. And we just, wow. Actually, that was kind of crazy. My tires touching the ground just a little bit there sped me up. That was cool. But yeah, no, I just love the visual aesthetic of it. It is very, like, very nice. They put a lot of work into it, you could tell. Of course, this is the optimal path that I found. Of course, you want to go nice and tight, straight line there if you can. Whoop, too early. Drift around that corner. If you can get it, you want to get a double drift. Ah! It's been a couple of days since I played Trackmania, forgive me. And I'm all hyper right now. Nope, bad. It's more than just a track. Yes. Well, but just the point that I was making is the fact that it's actually like I don't know how to describe it. Like it's actually a thing, you know? It's not just a floating bunch of, you know, road that has rings and stuff that doesn't make a bunch of sense around it. Like it actually feels like SeaWorld or something, you know? Like I've been to SeaWorld a few times, and like this section actually really reminds me of it. I guess it's somewhat nostalgic for me, but it's just a really fun track. I love the style of it. Well done to whoever created it, but I guess I'll have to look back at that in a minute. Anyways, let's look at the records. We got Verez, Shark Eric, kind of ironic, Carl Jr., oh, a legend coming back in. Letster and Flyer 36. Starting from Vera's perspective with Shark Eric and Carl TM, or Carl Jr. Super tight to the right side there. Like, oh my gosh, carrying the drift all the way through, barely making it through that corner. So much speed. Wow. Shark even touching the grass a little bit there in the start. Super tight in every corner. Like, oh, like triple drift right there. They carried that drift all the way through that section, and so tight. Like that last section, they had so much speed and they barely missed those walls. Oh my gosh. That is just, holy cow. The speed in that last section right there, like the fact that they didn't touch the wall, that's crazy. If it wasn't for the fact that that's a magnet block, they probably would have flown right into that wall. Crazy. You can't really drift on magnet blocks either, so they had to get just the right angle into that section. I want to see Shark Eric on his own here, because he does a little bit of a different line through the section. Yeah, he goes over the corner of the grass there, which is interesting. Straight through that corner, and he gets a slightly tighter line through that corner, but somehow Carl Jr. and Verez still carry slightly more speed, but they finish almost at exactly the same time there. Yeah, Shark super behind, but gets a straighter line into the finish and lands right next to him. We're gonna go Carl Jr. and Lester's perspective with Carl Jr. behind him there. Carl Jr. Letster cuts the grass again too. Okay, so they go really close to that corner, super tight. Oh my gosh, just carrying that drift all the way through. That is a skill that it like takes many hours to perfect. Super tight taps, using those action keys, drifting, super close to that rock. He almost hits that rock, and oh my, he almost hits the wall right before the finish there. But he has just even that much more speed, slightly straighter line, gets into the finish ahead of Carl Jr. Barely, oh my gosh, that turn next to that rock, he comes so close to that rock. Okay, let's go from Lester's perspective with Flyer 36 in front of him here. Letzer cutting the grass, Flyer going around it. Super tight to the fence there. Double, triple, quadruple, 5 times they drift. Really close to that rock there. Flyer keeping just a little bit more speed, and oh my god. It almost looks like they touched that wall. They can't be more than just like a pixel or two away from that wall when they go into the finish there. Absolutely incredible run. Well done to Lester and Flyer 36. Holy cow, just the speed into that finish. 6 thousandths between them. They are almost perfectly even throughout this whole track. Flyer just slightly ahead of him and just keeps it, just barely, all the way through. Excellent run to everybody. Carl Jr., a true legend in the leaderboards this week. That was Virez, Shark Eric, Carl Jr., Letzer, and Flyer. Carl Sr. That's funny. Yeah, Carl Jr. has been around for a long time. I mean, I don't know, like, specifically how long. I'm not, like, I guess, part of the community or whatever, but, yeah, Carl Jr. is somewhat of a legend. He's been around since, the old Trackmania, the original one. Trackmania Stadium or Trackmania Nations Forever, whichever one came first. I think it was Nations Forever, TMNF. In any case, that was Safari. Well done to everybody there. Week 47. Here we are at Port Midland. This one kind of reminds me of like San Diego, even maybe parts of San Francisco. You could even, there's a section of Portland almost that's kind of like this. So we're gonna do a quick run on this. You saw my PB there. I actually just got that PB like day before yesterday. I was in a party with my friends just chatting and was arbitrarily playing Trackmania in the background. You want to go nice and low through every transition here. And part of the issue with this track is these curve sections are not smooth. So you got to kind of go at just the right angle. And you cut that corner there. Oop, I messed it up. Into the finish. Brute forced my way in there. But you want to go nice and smooth into that last corner, and you can actually cut that edge by quite a lot. You can see my PB there. My whole car was in the air for a second, straight across that corner and into the finish. So we're gonna go ahead and look at the records here. We got Susui, Dowers Bros, Boasi, Voltzy, we've seen them a few times, and we've seen Susui a few times. And Adjust EKZ, we're gonna start from Susui's perspective. Susui, Dowers Bros, and Bosi here. Super tight to the right there. That's actually, okay, we're gonna do that again. Restart. We got Susui here going super tight to the right there. Bonk in the ground a little bit, but somehow keeping more speed, straighter line, really tight there. And going to the right side and keeping contact. Okay, I was thinking the left side was better because there was airtime there, but they somehow skip it. They get like a nose down and barely touch that one section right here. Just barely touching that, getting a tiny bit of airtime, but a ton of speed into the finish there. Beautiful line, but it looked like they actually had a slow down. Let's go from Dowers Bros perspective with Bosi there next to him. Super tight. Again, bonk of the ground. It seems like you'd lose speed with something like that, but really smooth transition there. Really close to that fence. Tight to the right, and they actually get some of that downhill. Looks like Bosi did the same thing that Susui did, but Dowers Bros gets a little bit of that downhill section there. Yeah, nope, they totally skipped the whole thing. Bosi getting a slightly tighter turn into the finish. So let's go from Bosi and Bosi's perspective here. Voltzy slightly behind, but getting a smoother transition there. slightly straighter, tight into the fence there. How is Voltzi gonna get ahead here into the finish? Voltzi getting a slightly tighter turn and barely pulling ahead. Literally 1,000th between them into the finish there. Voltzi behind nearly the entire track, getting a super wild turn there, but really tight into the finish. Barely getting in ahead of Bosi. Well done to Voltzi there. That was a snipe for sure. Let's go from a just perspective with Voltzi behind him there. Really smooth transition, barely bumps. Nice smooth line there. Almost didn't even catch any air time. Beautiful smooth line, straight down. Actually touched it a little bit, and oh my gosh, he goes so tight into the finish there. He actually almost lifts the passenger side tires off of the ground. Nice tight line, close to every wall. Touches the ground, gets a little bit of speed, super tight, cuts that whole corner. And he's so tight into the finish that, as I said, he almost lifts up the right side of his car. Absolutely beautiful run. Well done to Adjust. Voltzi almost coming in ahead of him there into the finish, but Adjust getting just that much tighter of a turn, getting him into the finish slightly ahead for actually 5,000ths, half of a hundredth. Well done to everybody there. That was Susui, Dowers Bros, Bosi, Voltzi, and Adjust on Port Midland. Map 4 of week 47. Well done to everybody. We're going to move on to the final map here. And we're going to get into the hunting. This one's actually a lot of fun. I did call it right. Somebody in chat confirmed it for me a little bit afterwards. But it's a Fall Guys inspired map. It looks almost exactly like one of the Fall Guys obstacle courses. Actually, like almost identical. Port Midland. Good luck, beat your map 5 times this week. What do you mean? Beat. We're gonna do a quick run here. I actually ended up doing this in first person's perspective just because it's like you get you get a much better view on it. Since it's such tight turns, you get a much better sight on where you actually are, and the camera is like right on the nose, so not nearly as good as my PB there. But I did this on stream last week, and I tried to improve a little bit, but I had a really good line here, and then yeah, you really gotta cut those turns super tight. I'm not gonna try to mess with that one right now. We're gonna go from Slayer's perspective. We got Slayer, Coin 360, Jonas, Milanovic, and Limon. We're gonna go from Slayer's perspective here with Coin and Jonas in front of him. Super tight around that corner. Oh my god, they barely missed that wing nut, and wow. They rock up onto the right side, and holy cow, there's a lot going on there. Jeez, that final turn. I'm actually like perfectly even with them right there, but they get slightly tighter because they missed the wing nut. They pretty much like, it looks like from their perspective, they basically had to have wrapped around that wing nut. Crazy, absolutely crazy. With that last turn up onto the pipe here, and super early turn, actually like parkouring their way up into that final checkpoint and straight into the finish, perfectly lining themselves up for that finish line. Let's go from Jonas' perspective here with Milanovic here in front of him. Jonas and Milanovic, they're both almost perfectly even. Milanovic getting just slightly closer to that checkpoint. that final checkpoint right before the finish line. Barely finishing ahead, but still getting in by 200ths. Here we got Milanovic and Limon. Milanovic getting a little bit earlier on. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold on, hold on. There's some stuff happening here. Lemon hitting the checkpoint. How does Lemon hit the upright on the checkpoint and still get the world record, bros? What's happening? What is happening here? Okay, we got to go from Lemon's perspective. Lemon super close to the first checkpoint, wrapping around the wing nut, up the pipe, early turn, and bumping the checkpoint. But the plastic acceleration keeping him ahead. I'm not gonna. We're not doing that right now. I don't know what you're trying to invite me. Crazy run, Lemon super early onto the pipe, bumping the checkpoint and barely missing the anti-booster into the finish. Somehow making that straight run. What a crazy run. Absolutely insane. Lemon. Let's look at everyone here with Lemon there. Super tight, wrapping around the wing nut. They're almost all perfectly even, but Lemon slightly earlier onto the pipe, and just, I don't understand how do you bonk the checkpoint and still, like, because it angled him, but like, you don't lose your speed? I get that it angles him, but holy crap. That's mind-blowing to me. Absolutely insane run by Limon. Great work by Slayer, Coin360, Jonas, Milanovic, and Lemon on Slime Climb. Map 5, week 47. Honestly, week 47 was a fun one. I did enjoy these tracks. I didn't love Port Midland. It wasn't my favorite, but honestly, probably just because I did. What's happening here? Is it lagging? Don't tell me it's lagging right now.